everyone, welcome back to Li'l K Artistry. I am Kristen, the artist also known as Li'l K, and I want to welcome you to my little corner of the art world. This is my studio at Li'l K Artistry, and today I'm going to be preparing to do a cloud pour. I have a series of these coming up, and I'm just delighted with some of the results that I am seeing with these clouds, and I'm also using some really neat tools to do some of them, so that's coming up. Today I'm doing a oval canvas. Today I found this at Hobby Lobby, and I thought, you know, this would be kind of fun to do a cloud pour on. This is one I've done two others on this size as well, and those will be coming up. This one is going to be I'm going to be using a series of blues. Two of them are this little piggy pigments, and I'm excited to share those with you. And when I start the pouring and filling the cup, I will let you know what those colors are. First of all, I want to welcome you back if you're a returning visitor. If you are a first timer, welcome. Thank you for joining me. I don't know how you found my channel, but I'm very glad that you did, and I'm so glad that you're here. Please give a shout out. Let me know from where in the world you're watching. And also, if you have not yet subscribed, that would be delightful if you would do that as well. This is my little safe space and my little corner where I practice my fluid art. I'm also dabbling in some texture art. And I do want to let you know that coming up after the holidays, I am going to be sharing a very special piece that I have, actually it's a series of 3 paintings that I have done at the request of my son. He has requested 3 larger canvases. They're rectangular, they're 18 by 24, and all 3 of them go together. He has requested that I do in the color scheme of black, white, gray, and rust, and he likes a modern abstract style with different types of shapes. So I have completed it. It came out really amazing, and I don't want to spoil his surprise, so I'm not going to share any of it till after I give it to him for Christmas, and I'm hoping that he really loves it, and I can't wait to see it hanging on his wall. Having said that, welcome back. This is again another cloud pour. I'm going to be sharing with you all the colors that I'm using today. This was a freebie. Thank you so much, Fluid Art Co. They sent me a free sample of one of their new pigments, and this one is Algae. It is absolutely stunning. It's kind of a bluish green. It's so beautiful, and wait till you see it in this piece. It's going to be stunning. So that is the Algae, and I haven't got very much of it, but that's going to go right in the center of my piece. I'm also going to be using some of the Amsterdam, and this is greenish blue. This is gorgeous. And then I also have the Liquitex Basics, and this is ultramarine blue, also another beautiful color. And then this is my second piggy. I think this is Blue Eyes. Yes, it is. This is Blue Eyes, a beautiful piggy. And then Liquitex Basics, another, and this is the light blue. So I am going to be mixing these little guys. I'm actually going to change the order of how I put them in the cup, I think. Let me think about this for a second. No, I do want it like that. I do want it like that. Okay, so we've got the colors. I've also got my cloud mix here. I'm going to be layering the cup, and I'll start that in just a second. But first I want to prep my canvas. I have already made sure that my canvas is level. You want to make sure that you do that first, because if you have an unlevel surface or an unlevel canvas and then you pour the fluid art on it, if you leave it there for any length of time, it will shift. And then the painting that you do that looks all beautiful when you get it done will shift and will look completely different. And ask me how I know that. That is from experience. Many times, unfortunately, before I really was paying attention to leveling out my canvas and my table, I would make these really beautiful pieces, and then the next day I would come in and check on them, and there you go. They did not look a thing like what they were supposed to look like, because they had shifted overnight while they were drying. And some of them, it just broke my heart. If you've ever had that experience, you just have a beautiful piece and you just want it to dry perfectly, and then your table's not level. So make sure, first thing guys, that you level your table. This is just Flow Aid. And all this does is it makes it so that I don't have to use quite as much of the base layer. so I don't have to put quite as much paint on the canvas, which means I don't have to spin or tilt as much of it off. And this is just Liquitex Flow Aid. I'll show you the bottle that it comes in. It's a little bottle, but trust me, it goes a long way. And you just mix it as it says on the bottle. It's 1 part Liquitex Flow Aid to 20 parts of water. And I just mix it, put it in a little squirt bottle like that. And then I squirt it on, and then I brush it out with one of these flat brushes. And I got these brushes right at Hobby Lobby. Pretty easy to find, those little flat brushes. Okay. I think what I want to do is put a little bit of this Liquitex Basics Light Blue in the middle. So this will be a little bit, this will be the base coat. And I don't need too much of that. I am also going to put that in the, when I fill the cup, I'm actually going to put that in the cup as well. Let me just spread this out a tiny bit. The nice thing I like about using that Liquitex Flow Aid is that it does make the canvas wet so that you don't have to use as much base coat. When you spread the base coat, you can just kind of do it however, kind of haphazardly. It doesn't have to be perfect, because when those paints get to the edge, they'll spread out on their own, because that Flow Aid makes the canvas wet. It's like it has a thin layer of paint on it. And it's really wonderful. It helps to extend the fluid art. It helps to extend the fluid acrylics so you don't use as much. And if you've been following my page at all, one of the things you'll know that I like to do is conserve. Don't like to waste paints. I don't think it's good for the environment. It's definitely not good for my wallet. So I like to save as much as possible. Okay, so there's my base layer. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead and load up my cup. And I am going to start with that new little piggy pigment algae, and I'm going to put that right in the center. Not a ton of it, just a little bit like that. And then I'm going to go in with the greenish blue. And then a little bit of the cloud mix. Then we're going to go in with that ultramarine blue, which is just beautiful. And then this is the blue eyes. That's also a pigment. And then that's that light blue, Liquitex Basic Light Blue. And then I'm going to put a little bit more of the cloud mix there. I will let you know these paints have been sitting and they were pre-mixed for about 4 days. I like to do that because I don't like to have a ton of bubbles in my paintings. And I feel like if I let them sit for a good long time, then I don't have to worry as much about all those bubbles. So I think this is Thursday, and I think I mixed these on Monday. So it was Monday evening. So they had all night Monday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, and then all day today to just kind of chill. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do a straight pour. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start this way, and then I'm going to move to the center, because I think I want something a little bit different this time. So we'll test it out and see what happens. Move these guys out of the way. And I did end with the bluish green. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to start here and then pull this way really slowly, and then I probably will do a little bit of a twist in the middle. My hands are a little bit shaky just because my wrist is quite sore tonight. So that first color that went into the cup is the last color out, and that's that beautiful algae from this little piggy. Now I'm just going to twist a little bit, get a little bit of a circular motion on that, trying to keep it pretty well centered. There we go. Oh, so painful. Okay. Whew. All right, that is looking really nice. I'm loving how even before I spin it, you can see that bright, almost a purpley blue. That is that beautiful ultramarine blue by Liquitex Basics. So gorgeous. And then this is that beautiful greenish blue. Ooh, that's pretty. There's not hardly any bubbles. There are a couple though. So I'm going to pop those. Always make sure, you guys, when you're doing a cloud pour like this, pop the bubbles before you start spinning or tilting, because what can happen, doesn't always, but what can happen is if you have a bubble and then you start tilting, if that bubble doesn't pop, it will stretch the color and you can sometimes see the trail that the bubble left. So unless you want that look, and by all means leave it if you do. So I'm just going to stretch this guy out a little bit and see if I can check. I want to just make sure there's no, it's pretty good. There's not hardly any bubbles, so that's good. I'm going to stretch them out a little bit here. There we go. Oh, this is going to look so pretty. I'm so glad I put that ultramarine blue in there. That's so beautiful. All right, I'm going to do another pop of the bubbles, and then just a little bit of a spin. I'm going to get a damp cloth here. Just a little bit of a spin, just to stretch it a tiny bit, just to see where we're at with, oh, pretty. Goodness, oh, that's beautiful. Wow, that algae is going to be gorgeous in the center. Oh, that ultramarine blue is mixing with the clouds, and oh, it's so pretty, you guys. Oh, I'll bring you in closer when I get it done so you can see what I'm seeing. Oh, wow. So there's that bluish green, that dark color. Oh, that's so pretty. Oh, wow. Okay, I'm going to take some of this here that's coming off the edge and just put it out here. All right, let me spin. I'm going to take a tiny bit of this actually, because I want to make sure I've got a little bit more of that blue out here around the edge. There we go. Okay. And then I'm going to take it this way a little to see if I can stretch that. I want to keep the composition for the most part, but I do want to stretch it that way a little. There we go. That's working. Oh. I get so excited when this works well, you guys. It's just, I know the science behind it. I know why it works, but that moment of truth when you actually layer the cup and then you start the painting and you're like, I hope this really works. I mean, I've done so many cloud paintings now. I know that it works, but there's that moment where you're a little bit scared that maybe you flubbed it up or you didn't layer them quite right. Okay, I want to slide it a tiny bit that way, so I'm going to scoot it off the side just a little bit because it's a little bit off center and I want it to be a little bit more centered. So I'm going to scoot that side off just a tiny bit more, stretching it that way a little. Okay, yes. Oh, wow. Oh, this is so, so pretty. I mean, I think it's pretty. You guys can tell me what you think, but I think it's beautiful. I'm just going to scrape this off and save it. When I do my tester pieces, when I'm trying out a new color combination or a new style, that's what I use. I use the leftover scrapings. Okay, so I'm gonna spin this one more time to get some of these just little extra bits off and make sure that the sides get good coverage. And then I think this one will be done. All right, I'm going to spin this a couple more times. A little bit more paint spun off. Not much at all though, guys. This is not much waste here at all, and I love that. Oh my goodness. So pretty. Okay, so I'm glad I started. Remember, I started at this end and then I pulled it back and then I went forward and then I went back a little bit before I did the center. Oh, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. Oh, these colors are that ultramarine blue, Liquitex Basics Ultramarine Blue. It's almost purple. It's so gorgeous. And that greenish blue next to the algae is going to be stunning when it dries. The algae has is a very pale blue with a pale green in it, and it's real shimmery. Oh, okay, let me see how. Oh goodness, how pretty is that? Okay, so I see the composition on this end is a little bit off. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to spin it to see if I can get a little bit of this just to move off a tiny bit more. Not a ton, but I do want to see if I can get a little bit more of that ultramarine blue closer to the end of the canvas. There we go. That's better. Okay, yep. That's what I needed to do. So now there's a little bit more of a cohesion because that light sky blue is at the bottom, and also there's a little bit at the top too, which I just love. Okay, you guys, I am going to call this one done. Though my daughter is an artist, and she says your art is never done. It's abandoned. It's never finished. It's abandoned. So I think instead of calling this one finished, I'm going to call this one abandoned because I'm pretty sure I don't want to do anything more to it. Oh my goodness, that is so lovely. Wow. Wow. I don't know if the composition is this side down or that side down. Yeah, I like the dark at the bottom. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna bring you in for a close-up and take my gloves off. Bring you in for a close-up so you guys can see what I'm seeing here. Turn off that overhead so we don't get a glare. Wow, just so pretty, you guys. I'm really so happy with the beautiful colors in the middle. Let's show you that center. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to shake that. Sorry about that. There's the center. That's that algae in the very, very center. And then you can see the ultramarine is just a hint of it in some of those center clouds. But then as you go out, it gets darker. And then there's a bunch of real pretty clouds at the top. And then that beautiful greenish blue. And then more of the ultramarine. Oh my goodness, that almost looks like waves right there. And then on the other side too. Wow. I am really liking this piece, definitely. This one came out really well. Super happy with the results. Awesome. Well, I hope that you enjoyed this and you got some inspiration, maybe for a cloud painting of your own. Definitely give me a shout out. Let me know what you think of this one. I'm super happy with it. And I'm going to encourage you as well. Make sure that you let your paints rest for several days so that all of the little bubbles come out of them. And wow, let me know what you think of this one. I think it's really, really pretty, you guys. I really love it. There are so many beautiful clouds in multiple colors. And the purpley blue that's through the middle and then this dark shadowy area here in the clouds at the top. I really like it. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope that you had fun. I know I did. I'm going to go and rest my hands now. And hopefully I will be better tomorrow so that I can work. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for your comments and all of your support. Please subscribe. Feel free to share this if you know someone who might enjoy it. And I'm going to say, once again, this is Li'l K from Li'l K Artistry. I'm reminding you and I am encouraging you to go make the art. Here is the dried result, and you can see it dried beautifully. And that, let me see if I can get the color shift, that in the middle is that beautiful algae. Look at that. Oh my goodness. And all that gorgeous ultramarine. But that shifting algae in the center there is it's so eye-catching. And there's a tiny shimmer of it all throughout. And you can also see a little shimmer of purple. And that is the TLP Piggy Blue Eyes. There's a little bit there as well. Oh my goodness, I wanted to show you what that looked like. All dry. It is gorgeous. I cannot wait to finish it. Came out pretty.